Knowles, Carleton College, head coach of the Atlanta Hustle. What I remember about being an athlete as a kid was all the time that went into it, honestly. I played pretty much every sport that was available to me. I did gymnastics, I played soccer, I played basketball, and then I played Ultimate actually summer after my sophomore year in high school. The first time I even had an inkling that I might actually be really good was when I played on the U20 girls national team. My high school coach, Michael Baccarini, was absolutely the person who introduced me to the sport and taught me how to love the sport. And I don't know, showed me a path that this could be the sport that I did next. Because it's hard when you graduate high school, especially I think as a woman, like sports end for the most part. And for me, they really didn't for another 20 years. That was a real gift.
Miranda Roth with an unbelievable catch, keeping her team's upwin chances alive on this possession.
When I moved back to Atlanta, John Bosey, the general manager of the Hustle, approached me the first year that the team was going to exist in 2015. And he was like, would you consider coaching? Really, I didn't think of myself as a pro men's coach. Bosey thought of me in that way first. And he had that vision. And that kind of allowed me to see that in myself. Because I came from a traditional sports background, I've always wanted Ultimate to go that direction. And so it was, for me, the next evolution of the sport and of myself in the sport. One of the reasons that I have always stuck with coaching in the AUDL, because it's not easy, you know, like I have a kid and I have a full-time job and I coach other teams, but I love coaching in the AUDL. And part of that is the girls that I coach to see me also coaching men. And I want them to see that a woman can be powerful no matter who is taking the instructions. And I also want them to see that men can be respectful of a woman in a place of power, and that you can have good relationships with men as partners, as subordinates, as bosses, and all of those can be really healthy. And I like doing that in a public sphere so that young women can see that. The losing is hard whenever you do it, wherever you do it, whatever your role is. I think anybody listening to this is probably a real competitor, as am I. And I hate losing and I love winning. And that hasn't changed from when I was an athlete to now when I'm a coach. I think as a coach, I have to mask my emotions a lot more when I'm losing and make it seem okay.
And it's up, and that's the game. Dallas comes away with the win, 29-28.
I think as a coach, you have to portray this sense of calm and that whatever happens is okay. It's all part of the plan, even when you're devastated. There's so many good things about criticism. One, especially for the head coach, to absorb it so that the players don't feel it. The other reason that I like criticism is that I am still learning. We play and coach a young sport, and for any of us to say, oh yeah, this is the best way, that's clearly not right. We all still have so much to learn, and so when Evan or my athletes or my assistant coaches or the owners criticize me, great. A lot of times I have to trust that I know more than they know. And that, I think, has been hard for me, especially as a woman, to trust that I know a lot about this sport. And even though I played in a different division than the elite men that I'm coaching, that I understand what I'm doing. All of us have learned a new appreciation for our sport. Whether people are coming back to play or opting to retire or have found other loves and interests, I think we all realize the important role that Ultimate played in our lives. And I couldn't be more excited about the AUDL season, especially as we come out not only of the pandemic, but out of a racial reckoning and social justice movement. I'm thrilled to be part of an organization that is working on that actively. The AUDL is a great place for us to be coming back after a heck of a year in 2020, and 2021 is going to be dope.